Welcome to Science Max Experiments at Large. I'm Phil McCordick, and today we're going to be building one of the most devastating, one of the most powerful machines known to medieval man, using a plastic spoon, among other things. We're going to be building a catapult. Catapults were used throughout history for all kinds of reasons to throw all kinds of things, but mostly big stone blocks at castle walls in order to knock them down. Here's what you need in order to build your own catapult. You need elastics, pencils, unsharpened is fine, plastic spoons, like I said, and popsicle sticks. Popsicle sticks. Popsicle sticks. I'm gonna go wash my hand. So, here's the science behind what we're doing today. It's all about elastic force. Elasticity is a property of solid materials, like this elastic, and how much they tend to return to their original shape when deformed, like when I pull on it. Elastics are called elastics because they're great at doing just that. You can pull on it and pull on it and pull on it, and it'll, always return to its original shape. So we are using the power of elastic force today. Ow.
Now it's time for a Science Max quiz. Elasticity is the ability for a material to return to its original shape when deformed, like this or this. Which of these materials have elasticity? A rubber band, a pencil, or a rock? Haha! This is a trick question. The answer is all three. Most solid materials have elasticity. Nearly everything will deform a little and still be able to return to its original shape. It all depends on how much. This is a steel bar. This is an elastic band. And this is an ice cream sundae. We're not talking about ice cream sundaes now, though, so get that out of here. Good. Now, a steel bar and an elastic band both have elasticity. A steel bar can be stretched to 1% of its length and still spring back. A rubber band can be stretched 300% or more. The difference between the two is why we make balls out of rubber and buildings out of steel, because the other way around wouldn't be good for balls or buildings. This has been a Science Max quiz.
Greetings, Science Maximites. Today, we're going to be looking at air. I know, it's kind of hard to look at air because it's invisible. But we can look at something that uses air to move. That's right, paper airplanes! Ha-ha! Ho-ho! Look out! Woohoo! Believe it or not, you can learn all kinds of science from paper airplanes. So let's build some. We are going to do a paper airplane which actually holds the Guinness World Record for the longest paper airplane flight. Pretty cool, huh? First, you fold the paper in half like this, but then you open it back up again, and then you fold in the corners like this. Now, don't worry if this is really, really fast, because you have all the instructions on our website. Then you can fold the paper down like this, make sure it's about 2 centimeters from the bottom, where the point is there, and then you fold the corners in just like you did before. But these ones are just guide folds. We use guide folds to help us fold other folds, basically. Now, we fold again using the guide fold lines you just made. And I like to call this fold the shirt collar fold because it sort of looks like a shirt collar when you fold it. Now, we fold again on the fold that you made before. Folds in like that and in like that. And now we fold the point down to touch the edges right like that. And this is a guide fold, so do it very strong. Unfold it. Now you fold it in half like this. And see that guide fold line that we made there? What you're gonna do is you're gonna take the tip and you're gonna fold it in to touch the guide fold line like that. And this is also a guide, and open it up. And here's the trickiest part. See how it's bent like that? You push it open like this, and this is called a pocket fold because you want to make a little pocket and push it up against there. Fold it flat like this, fold this tip down over there like that. Then fold it around the back side. Then fold the wings down like this and like this. And here's the extra special bit. We're gonna use some stabilizers on this plane. Fold up the stabilizers on the ends of the wings and ta-da, the Sky King paper airplane fold. Now, as science maximites, you know that there's lots of ways you can learn how to fold paper airplanes. Get an adult and look up paper airplane designs on the internet, or take a book out of the library on how to fold paper airplanes. And of course, this isn't Science Max, experiments at large, if we don't max it out. So that's right, we're gonna make a giant paper airplane. I'm going to the Ontario Science Centre to do just that. In order to build our hot air balloon, Michaela and I are taking clear garbage bags, cutting them along the seams so they end up as one thin sheet of plastic, and taping them all together with duct tape into a balloon. Okay, so that's
Nice.
how many bags is that?
It's like 12 bags.
Well, so you think that's big enough?
I think so. It's pretty big.
Okay, I think we can stop there. Okay, so where's the opening again?
I think it's on your side.
Hope you didn't duct tape it close. Okay, no, we're good. We're good. So it's going to inflate like this. Wait a minute. Let's make sure it works. Is it working?
Kind of.
I don't know if it's inflating. Okay, good. So it does inflate. It does hold air,
Yeah.
right? So should we try it?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay, so we're gonna use a hairdryer, right? And now we wait. It's working.
Kind
Right?
of.
Oh yeah.
Woohoo.
Okay, it's almost inflated.
All right.
Okay, what do you think?
Yeah, let's try it.
Okay, on the count of 3, we'll throw it, okay?
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. It didn't quite,
Not quite.
Doesn't-
Aw.
doesn't quite float, huh?
It's still too heavy, Phil. I think
Think-
we got a couple problems here. The duct tape is really heavy.
Yep.
Also, these bags themselves are really heavy.
Okay, well, if we want to fix the duct tape problem, we could use lighter tape. Like what if, we use invisible tape, or as I like to call it, science tape.
Science tape.
Which would be lighter than duct tape.
That's a good plan.
But what do we do about the bags?
Have you ever seen those, those dry cleaning bags?
Oh, wait, I've got one. I've got one here.
Cool. Perfect.
Aha!
Yeah, perfect.
Because, when I get my lab coats dry cleaned, so let me see here. Oh yeah, this is much lighter. This is kind of the same material as the grocery store fruit bags, right?
I have a better feeling about this one.
So lighter tape, lighter bag means a much lighter balloon. Okay, well, let's try it. First, I should probably take my lab coat out. Gas molecules get further apart when you warm them up and closer together when you cool them down. So what happens if you keep cooling them down? Well, they turn into this. This is liquid nitrogen. Nitrogen makes up 78% of the air we breathe, but when you cool it down to minus 196 degrees Celsius, it turns into a liquid. It's boiling right now because at room temperature, nitrogen wants to be a gas. So the liquid nitrogen is turning into gaseous nitrogen, and all of the extra molecules are escaping through the top of the bottle. So what happens if I put a cap on the bottle? Right now, the liquid nitrogen is turning back into a gas, but because there's a cap on the bottle, the gas has nowhere to go. So the pressure is just gonna keep building and building until the plastic bottle can't contain it anymore, and it pops like a balloon. Science!
Our rockets have gone from small to bigger to even bigger. Now the plan is to use 3 2-liter bottles and create columns of them into a giant rocket. We pressurize them just like we did before, but with more thrust, it might work even better.
Even if it doesn't work better, I'm pretty excited about this new plan.
Giant rocket! Giant rocket! You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, blast shields down. Connecting hose. Dialing up pressure. Pressure is rising. It's bubbling. Bubbling. 100 PSI. Okay, stand by to fire. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Woo! Awesome! Yeah, let's go check it out. Well, there you have it. Rocket Science Max.